Is your CFI robbing you? Is your certified flight instructor robbing you? I remember when I first learned to fly. I had a lot of good instructors. I had a lot of bad instructors. Does your instructor let you taxi? Does he let you talk on the radio? Does he let you take off and land? I fly with people 10, 15, 20 hours all the time. They can't taxi. They can't talk on the radio. They can't land or take off because their instructor doesn't let them fly. Your student is never going to learn if you don't let him take the controls. Now, I remember when I first started flying, my whole week revolved around my flying lesson. My instructor would call and cancel, call and cancel, call and cancel. He was canceling because he was trying to build his hours. So he's picking up trips and other flying so he can build up hours. So he would cancel me and I'd be devastated. When I first started giving lessons, I never canceled on my student, never. In 40 years, I've never one time canceled on a student to take another trip. Now, one Saturday, my friends called me. They were going to take a Cherokee 6 up to Illinois. And we were all going to go, and we were all going to be able to log it. We were going to get 8 hours of flying. I had 3 students on Sunday. I said, oh, man, I can get 8 hours. I said, no, I'm not going to cancel on my student. I didn't like it when my instructor canceled on me. I said, I'm not going to cancel on my student. To make a long story short, they took the Cherokee 6 up there. The engine quit, and they crashed. It didn't kill them, but it broke their shoulders and their hips. When they landed, they went through the trees. They did the right thing. They went between 2 trees, tore the wings off, but the shock broke their shoulders and their hips. So they're in bad shape the rest of their life. I let them borrow some of my charts, and I got my charts back, and they were just crunched. So if your CFI is constantly canceling on you, he's late, he doesn't give you ground school before the flight, after the flight, he doesn't give you ground school. He doesn't say to you, what do you not understand? What are your questions? What do I need to help you with? If he's not doing that, he's not a good CFI. He's just robbing you to get hours to move to the airlines. At the end of the flight, does he jump out of the plane and, oh, I'll sign your logbook later and go fly with somebody else? He's not teaching you. Your flight instructor should give you an hour ground before every flight. And after every flight, at least 30 minutes of ground to go over the lesson and what you didn't understand and address your questions and your concerns. And you should have input. You should have input in your flying. Does he use a syllabus? Is he marking in the syllabus every flight, everything that you've done? Is he showing you the next lesson so you can study that? Does he say to you, go on YouTube and watch the lessons and you'll be that much more prepared? When I learned to fly, there was no YouTube. You had to get a book and read about all of that. Now, learning to fly is so much easier because you have YouTube. I mean, you can watch the whole lessons in 10 different airplanes before you even go take the lesson. So, is your flight instructor robbing you? Is he just flying you around, logging hours while you're paying for it? I mean, basically, it's 200 hours for an airplane and 50 hours for an instructor. $250, if he's just flying you around, he's not letting you fly. He's robbing you. Now, another thing. Is he grabbing a yoke? Is he screaming and hollering? Is he insecure? Is he scared? I tell all of my students, look, you're going to fly the whole time. You're going to taxi. You're going to do the radios. You're going to take off. You're going to land. I might take my finger and push it on the yoke a little bit when we land so we don't land hard. But other than that, you're going to fly the whole time. And flight instructors, if you're calm, if you get upset and you're screaming, hollering, grabbing the yoke, you're busting your students' confidence. If you're scared, they're going to sure be scared. You can't go in that plane and be scared. I had some flight instructors that were just a nervous wreck. They were grabbing the yoke and screaming and hollering and scared to death. I'm like, oh my God. Then I flew with some guys that just sat over there. If I did something wrong, they just look at me like this right here. And I'd have to figure out what I did wrong. They wouldn't screaming and hollering and yelling and grabbing the yoke. Now, when we land, I sit like a gunslinger in case I have to grab that yoke, you know, if we get in the wind or bounce or something. But you got to be conscientious of your students, and you can't bust their confidence. You got to build up their confidence and keep them positive. I take students all the time. Can you take my student? He's not learning. He's not progressing. You know, he's a troubled student. Yeah. And then I find out it ain't the student, it's the instructor. So don't let your flight instructor rob you. You're paying him. If you don't like the way he's teaching you and you're not learning, get a new instructor. He's not doing you a favor, you're doing him a favor. $250 an hour, and he's not letting you fly, and he's just robbing you. If he's canceling all the time, if he's late, if he runs in there late, jumps in the plane, y'all go fly, he jumps out of the plane, I'll sign your logbook later. He's not a good instructor. He is not a good instructor. If he's just jamming his flights close, so he's just getting hours to go to the airlines, he's not thinking about you, he's thinking about him. So, if you have questions or concerns, is your instructor good? Is he not good? Do you need some advice? Do you need some help? Call me. If you got a plane, I'll teach you in it, you know. So, make sure your instructor's not robbing you. I mean, you should have, some of these flight schools and airports I go to, I just want to stand on the ramp and say, please, please, there's a robbery in progress. Because some of these flight instructors are just robbing your students blind. They might as well run out there with a gun and say, give me all your money, give me all your money, because they're just robbing you. I can solo a bowling ball. I can solo a dead raccoon in 6 to 10 hours. If you're not close to solo in 10 hours, it ain't you, it's your instructor, you know. Anyway, don't let your instructor rob you. If you need advice, call me. My number's on the website. Thanks.